You know your cherries are ripe when they're just pulled cleanly off the stalk. Hello, welcome to English Country Life, welcome to the kitchen and welcome to cherry season. I love cherries. I love sweet cherries, just fresh and dewy off the tree. I love sour cherries in pies and Danish and cherries generally, don't get me started. But we're not doing any of that with these. These are going to be for my mum, but don't tell her. She don't watch YouTube, so we should be fairly safe. My mum likes cherry brandy. So we're going to make some today, and it's a simple process. One little tool you may not have seen before that's useful, and we'll walk you through it. Now, there's a world of fruit spirits out there. Probably most people have heard of things like Sloe gin, made from the fruit of the blackthorn tree. But if you haven't tried Blackberry Whisky, damson vodka, or in this case, Cherry Brandy, you're missing out on a lot of opportunities. All it is dissolving the flavours of fruit into alcohol. Alcohol's a brilliant solvent, and if you ever heard the word tincture, that's all it means. Something dissolved into alcohol. Now traditionally, people add sugar to the mix. The problem with that is, how much sugar do you add? It's not obvious or easy to know at the beginning. So what I do is I add the sugar at the end. Different to the normal technique, but I think it's better. Because you're not actually fermenting. You don't need the sugar for part of the process. So adding it at the end means you can add it a little at a time until you get the taste you want. That's what we're going to do here. But firstly, we need to prepare these cherries. So let me bring you in close and we'll have a go. First step we're going to do in preparing these cherries is to take out the stones. Cherries are a member of the Prunus family. These are Morello cherries. They're a sour cooking cherry. And members of the Prunus family, their pips, stones, what have you, contain a compound which when metabolized can create cyanide. The risk is tiny and you have to swallow a lot of stones for it to be a problem, but it's worth mentioning that actually removing the stones does get rid of that risk, as well as creating a channel for the brandy to get inside the cherry and dissolve out all those delicious fruit flavours. We're going to do that with this tool, a cherry stoner. Let me show you how it works. The cherry stoner is a simple tool. You've got a chamber, and into the chamber you put your cherry. You've got a rod, you close it, you push hard, and the pip falls out. What you've then got is a nice cherry with a neat hole through the middle. It's a lot easier for the alcohol to get in and dissolve out the flavours. It takes a little while, but we've soon got a big jar half full of stoned out cherries. And that's the key point here. There's no measurements needed. But what we do is we half fill the jar with whatever fruit we're using and then top it right up with our spirit of choice. I've labelled it, I'm going to put it in a dark cupboard, I'm going to shake it once a week. And that's it for the next few months. Once that's over, we'll strain off the fruit, we'll sweeten it to taste, and then we'll bottle it. It's a simple process. I'm looking forward to trying this batch. These cherries have been in there now for 3 months. They've given up their flavour and their sweetness. And what I'm going to do today is extract the brandy from the cherries, sweeten it a little bit to taste, and we're going to do that using a sugar syrup because we can add that a little bit at a time till we get the perfect flavour. If we put a great bunch of sugar in at the beginning, we have no idea how it's going to taste or whether we've got the right amount. So adding it gradually when all the other flavours are there lets us tune this spirit to exactly the flavour we want. Before we start separating the cherries, I'm going to make the sugar syrup because it needs time to cool. Let's talk sugar a minute. In a fruit spirit, we don't need to add any sugar. We made a Blackberry whisky one year with some super ripe, super sweet blackberries. And at the end of the infusion process, we tested it and it was gorgeous. It needed nothing. So we didn't add anything. And that's the joy of adding any sweeteners at the end of the process. The other point is, when you're making jam or marmalade, the sugar acts as a preservative, so it has to be there. In fruit spirits, it really doesn't. It's just a flavouring, so it doesn't even have to be sugar. If you want to, try sweetening with maple syrup, or honey, or whatever you like. Today though, we are going to make a syrup, and my considerations for the sugar to use went a little bit like this. Brandy's a very strong flavour, and I find white sugar is quite thin, quite chemically tasting, and I don't think it works with brandy. So I discounted it. Raw muscovado sugar is a wonderful flavour. It's dark, it's rich, it's treacly, it's unrefined. I really like it, but I was frightened it would overwhelm the delicate cherry flavours, particularly the treacliness. So I've discounted that too. And I'm going with Demerara. Less refined than white sugar, but still has a delicateness of flavour that I think won't completely kill the cherries. So 500 grams of Demerara in 250 millilitres of boiling water. That's going to be our sugar syrup. We'll make it now and it'll have time to cool. If you've never made a concentrated syrup before, you probably won't believe me when you add the sugar initially, that the water will absorb it all. But trust me, it will. You need hot water and you need to stir, but water will dissolve twice its own weight in sugar. The easiest way to strain off the fruit is through a fine sieve into a bowl. Having strained off the fruit, I want to put the brandy back into a clean jar for the addition of the sugar. Cherries, having been in brandy for 3 months, look weirdly like olives because all the colour's dissolved out as well as the flavour. You can throw those away if you don't like them. They're just cherries soaked in brandy. For me, that's a heck of a waste. These are the best part of the process. They are still a little bit sour though because they've had no sugar on them. So what I do is make a simple light syrup, 1 part sugar to 1 part water, let that cool, pop the cherries in a clip-top jar, cover them in the light syrup, leave them there for 2 or 3 weeks at least, longer the better, they'll last for years, and then enjoy them on ice cream, as a pie, and even as a garnish to a cocktail. They're brilliant, although they are an adult treat. Try it. I think you'll like it. Brandy's in a clean jar. We've got our sugar syrup and it's cool. We've got a brandy glass and a ladle. All we do now, put a small drop of sugar syrup in the brandy, stir, test it in the brandy glass. It's hard work that. If it's not right, we add a little bit more syrup and we keep going till we get the flavour we want. Let's see how we do that. That is incredible. It's our own cherries, beautiful French brandy. Just a little bit of sugar, just to take the sharp edge off. And it's smooth and it's soft and it's fruity and it's perfect for those autumn and winter days to come. Next job, let's get it bottled. We'll give a lot of these spirits as gifts. Our 90-plus-year-old neighbour seems to really enjoy them as a nightcap. So on this occasion, I've gone for a string and sealing wax finish for a nice vintage look on the bottle. I think if something's for a gift, it's worth taking that little bit of extra time just to make it look attractive. And that's how we make cherry brandy. But the principle applies to all the fruit spirits. You can do Sloe gin the same way. You can do Blackberry whiskey. The only limit's your own imagination. If you've enjoyed this, could you spare us 5 seconds? Give us a thumbs up down below. If you really want to help the channel out, leave us a comment and tell other people about the video. That's absolutely fabulous. It means such a lot when people do that. But whatever you do, come back and see us soon. Take care.